Oh, that's right. I'm a man who keeps his word. I'm a man. When I promise something, I deliver. And I'm here to deliver to you that which you have returned to me to hear. Like a piping hot pie that you ordered on an app and you forgot to click no contact delivery. Here I am, knock knock. But before I get into that crew critique that I promised, see, Win, I need them to make sure that they understand it ain't personal.
Flipping through my book. High level magic disclaimer. Poof. The views and opinions expressed on this program are strictly those of the hosts and do not necessarily reflect the views and opinions of associated brands or figures. Some content may not be appropriate for sensitive listeners. Poof.
That's right. Back at it. I know you guys really wanted this one. Maybe, sort of, kind of, possibly. Maybe you didn't at all, but that's irrelevant. Completely irrelevant. Now, I, for one, do love it when somebody either says, hey, I think you could do better there, or hey, I do believe something was left out here. And I'm always happy to elaborate. So, what we're going to do here is, see, Wind actually has a list, a short little list of, I guess I should say, not even complaints, like we said, critiques, concerns, appeals to a lack of nuance that I am going to run through real quick here and clarify. No big deal. Mm-hmm. So,
you know, this reminds me of
what?
It reminds me of E's and R's in the black vernacular. No, it's not spelled Nigga. Nobody's going to write. We're saying the same word. It's just we don't pronounce our E's and R's.
There you go.
You see what I'm saying?
That's
like
very fair.
everything you have to spell it out nowadays. I get it.
Absolutely.
Because everybody's texting instead of talking to each other, so there's no body language.
Man, you ain't lying. Yeah. As somebody who speaks with his hands, I can definitely understand it. So
I feel y'all. No hard feelings.
There is none. I love all of my crew. Okay, I really do. I'd swing hammer and crack skulls for any of you, and I mean that. Really do. So, all right, go ahead. What was the first? And here's the thing. This was about our episode where we spoke about Miss Jada Pinkett Smith, okay, and you know, I know some may believe that we were maybe one-sided, and it's not that. Maybe we're showing our age a little bit. It wasn't one-sidedness per se. It's just that we we already know a lot of what Sir Willard Smith has done. So. But I understand that some people might not. And I also understand that sometimes people get their information from hearsay and, social media posts. And if there's one thing I don't like to adhere to, it's whataboutisms. Well, what about what he did? Dude, that's not relevant to the conversation. Sometimes that's just not relevant.
We'll just put it this way. There are people who saw their Fresh Prince episodes on VH1, and there were people who remember watching the premiere of these episodes on NBC and what was going on in the world during the times. I'm just says it.
Friday night TV.
Oh man.
Oh jeez.
Must see TV.
Oh,
that's what they called it. I don't even remember what else came on there. Now I just remember Fresh Prince.
All right, man. Look, my hair's starting to turn gray with us talking about this, man. Let's go.
I remember back in my day.
Yeah, in my day, you know, when the Prince was still fresh. Yeah, right now he's a little past his expiration date. But that was a good show.
He should be a fresh king by now.
You'd think he'd be a fresh king by now, but they're over here doing reboots and all that there trash. But all right, man, let's get it. See, the thing is, I actually went ahead and
all right, so the first thing to address is Will being a terrible person who ruined many lives during his Fresh Prince days.
All right, so here's the thing. Okay, Will is not free of controversy, all right? Now, a bunch of people in his Fresh Prince days, I wouldn't necessarily say that. The gentleman who played Carlton, yeah, him and Will didn't necessarily get along, but it wasn't like he tortured this man and made his life a living hell. Now, Miss Janet Hubert, though, as some of y'all may know her as...
Black on Viv.
Black on Viv, okay. Now, there might be a bit of a, dare I say it, there might be a bit of an argument there for, Miss Hubert. Okay, Ms. Hubert, rather. But I went ahead and did my little bit of homework, and I'll link this article down here for you because it breaks it down very nice and simply. Aunt Viv was played, of course, by Miss Hubert, okay? And straight from Us Weekly. After nearly 3 decades, Smith sat down with Hubert in November of 2019 as part of the Fresh Prince HBO Max reunion to clear the air. Some people might have remembered this. It was actually kind of a big deal a few years ago when it did happen. During that 3rd season, when I got pregnant, there were a lot of things going on in my life and Will's life as well, Hubert recalled, claiming that her salary had also been cut. Home life was not good at all. I was no longer laughing, smiling, or joking because there were things going on that nobody knew about. The cast had no idea what was going on. And one of Will's biggest things was, he thought she was making it, she wanted to make it the Aunt Viv of Bel Air show. And it wasn't that, right? Now, granted, that's a young man lashing out and being stupid, which he admits to. In response, Smith admitted that he wasn't sensitive to his co-star at the time. Now that I've had 3 kids, I've learned some things I did not know at the time, he said. I would do things very differently. I can see where I made the set very difficult for Janet. Now, that's growth. And that's growth and burying the hatchet with the person that you had the beef with. Now, granted, 30 years later, fine. Okay. But still, nonetheless, she was able to forgive. And she was able to understand that I was not communicating my situation. She wasn't sharing what was going on with her. Now, one thing I will never be okay with is slashing, cutting her salary, cutting her pay when she's one of the prominent characters on the show. And that's ridiculous.
Hold up, but if she was, let's say she wasn't showing up for work, and she had good reason not to show up for work. This is actually the first time I'm hearing she didn't tell them what was going on with her. If somebody's not showing up for work, you just be like, well, shit, we're going to have to cut your pay. But now you the asshole for cutting the pay.
Right. But see, and that's why communication is important. That's why clarification is important, which is why we're doing what we're doing right now. You know what I mean? So what was the next?
All right, so heavy Jada slander in light of Will's many affairs. Now just to make sure we clear here, the word slander means the action or crime of making a false spoken statement damaging to a person's reputation. Now, mind you, on this show, we are very mindful not to make untrue statements, and anything that is speculative, we make it very clear that it's just our thoughts or opinions on the matter. So I probably just a slippage of usage in that particular case. I don't think that was anything malicious, but the context I take from that statement is just that the conversation was very Jada leaning, and they felt that weren't addressing the shortcomings of Will, including his affairs.
Now, if I remember correctly, I actually think we addressed a lot of critique of both of them.
Oh yeah, the whole family. In fact.
The whole family, in fact, that we threw out there. Now, I will say, we did go hard on her. Definitely,
it was relevant
because it was relevant to the conversation. Yeah. But at the same time, it's like we went through the whole family, really, and I think the only ones that we weren't really harsh on were the kids.
Yeah. they were
and
victims.
Really, in Willow's case in particular, I have nothing but sympathy for because that letter.
Oh, the letter.
The letter to Tupac.
That fucked me up.
That just broke my heart, man. Because no child should shoulder that kind of emotional burden for their parent. And I know a lot of our crew have those kinds of complex relationships with their parents where they were forced to be way more mature than they should have had to have been when they were a child. And you know, hey, us included. And that is never something that I take lightly. So if that was ever, you know, insinuated or if that was ever assumed, no, I greatly apologize on that one because that was definitely just not the case, like at all. Now, as far as those cheating rumors, in November of 2013, Smith was rumored to be hooking up with Margot Robbie on the set of their film Focus. After photos were leaked of the pair joking around and fake flashing a camera in the photo booth, been working nonstop, just catching my breath. There's absolutely no truth to the ridiculous rumor, the Australian native wrote via Twitter at the time. It's disappointing that goofing around on set could be taken so out of context. And a source close to Smith echoed those sentiments to Us Weekly at the time. They were just goofing around. Will is just like that. There's nothing more to it. Now, countless affairs and all that, and this bleeds straight into this. The fact that they've had an on-again, off-again open marriage to begin with. Now, I know that we threw the joke in there, and maybe it went, you know, maybe people thought we were just being directly serious. And no, that whole shit must have been her idea. But it actually kind of is. His view of relationships primarily is monogamy.
That's how he was raised.
However, during an interview with GQ in September of 2021, Smith revealed that he and his wife haven't always been monogamous. Jada never believed in conventional marriage.
It's been out there for a long time.
Yeah.
I remember like years ago they said that like that was a big thing. They were saying like, and then there's some people applauded them for it. Some traditionalists were like, but
right.
A lot of people actually applauded them for that because they understood. Okay, well, you know, you can't control what your partner's into, and then the fact that they can still have a marriage and right. And do it. You know, they were celebratory then, but. As of late, it's just...
So it continues. Jada had family members that had an unconventional relationship, so she grew up in a way that was very different than how I grew up. He explained later, hinting that both parties had taken advantage of the trust and freedom in their relationship. There were significant endless discussions about what is a relational perfection, and for the large part of our relationship, monogamy was what we chose. Not thinking of monogamy as the only relational perfection.
So not as a mandate, but more so as hell. This is what's working, so why not? It works until it don't work.
Now, and in comparison to that, okay, so you got that. Well, he cheated a bunch. Well, apparently not. And even still, their relationship they went back and forth between it being open and whatnot. But as for the entanglement itself, you know, and was there anything else specifically?
Trying to make heads or tails of this particular, let's see, slandering her for a deeper meaning, and on the poor wheel train. No, it was
No, we were not on the poor Will train.
No,
we were on
nobody has clean hands.
Yeah, Will, especially Will. Will does not have clean hands in this situation, according to, you know, allegedly. You know, I'm sure Chris Rock could tell you more about Will's hands than we ever could. But
he was the one to slap the motherfucker.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the end of the day. It's your hands.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, it's like, dude, there was no poor Will. Never would be poor Will in this situation. That man took actions into his own hands.
you don't have to agree with a motherfucker
really,
to understand
yeah.
him. Like I understand why Will Smith arrived where he at.
Right.
Do I agree or condone any of it?
Absolutely not. No. But at the same time, and as we pointed out, you know, we've both been in relationships where we've been with somebody that gives us a look like you better get up and do something.
Mm-hmm. Or they're gonna make your life a hell. That
live in hell.
They don't do stuff like, see, typically as men, like we physical, like if we feel a certain way about something, we act on it. Then like I've been in a relationship where it would be stuff like you thinking everything is great, but she didn't had a conversation with your co-workers, your family members, whatever else. So you show up to the office or you show up to the barbecue, and everybody looking at you crazy. You don't know what the hell going on, like that type of shit. That shit'll drive you crazy, because then you think like, wait a minute, did I do something wrong is it something wrong with me or whatever? And then imagine going through that for some decades worth of marriage, and then finally that straw hit the cat. That final straw just hits the pile, and then the motherfucker say, you know what? I gotta make some choices right now, because if I don't do anything, I got to go home.
Right.
And then you know what time it is.
Right.
She done already told me she was gonna kill me if I didn't do it. I'm not saying that actually happened, but that's how that shit look. That's the old thing that'll get a dude that's worth that much money. Either somebody said something to him, there was something pre-existing before the situation. It wasn't his comment. Let's get that out your head. Nobody gets slapped over a joke. There was a lot of context that was kept out of the public eye to protect his family. He ain't putting all that business out there like Red Table Talk did or whatever. So yeah, so we understand that there's probably a lot more to the situation than meets the eye, but you can only judge people based on their actions. He's the one slapped somebody. We all saw the look she gave him, and we know their history of what they've put out there. So it was solely on that. No, Will Smith is like, as far as hip hop folks go, he's somewhere in that barrel that I keep Nick Cannon in terms of concern or whatever. Like that's not the dude that comes up in the top 10 conversations that happen every day. So,
no.
Yeah,
so it was not poor Will. Like, if anything, what Will did has led to an increase in comedians being attacked on stage.
Yeah.
Recently we saw Dave got tackled by that fucking SoundCloud rapper. It's like, dude, look, no. Do I sympathize with the abuse that he has sustained in the relationship and the psychological abuse? Yes, I do. But do I condone his actions? Do I view that as an excuse? Absolutely not. Nor would I ever.
Nah.
Nor would I ever think that physical assault because your partner gave you a look is the correct answer. Look, sometimes, and I'll end it here, sometimes the best way for you to be a man is for you to be willing to take that, well, why didn't you do nothing? Why didn't you say nothing? I'd rather take that than literally slap my life away.
So much context around this shit. Like we've been trying to get out, man. Like could you imagine doing like you remember the difference between back when Will was doing like Wild Wild West versus like his more recent movies? Like he said it seemed like he was having fun back in the day. Like you could tell Men in Black.
Yeah, and
I
now
made this look good.
Now it's all like dude, his acting is fucking garbage now.
It's like because he don't want to be there. It's like when you have to go to work because you got this lifestyle you got to keep up, and then,
right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I didn't want this big ass house, but then, she wants this big ass house.
Look, man, if you throw yourself away for your partner's happiness without taking care of your own, that is where you wind up.
That's it.
And he is responsible for that.
Yeah,
just like she said herself on her own show, you're responsible for your happiness.
That's right.
Well, maybe she should stop reminiscing about Tupac, and maybe he should stop chasing after an idea of what her perfect man is.
Mm-hmm. He set himself up for it.
But hey, like I said, with that, I'm done. I'm done with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to ruffle any feathers with my opinions, but at the same time, I don't want anyone to think that I don't grasp a nuance.
Been rotated around this earth, quite a few times.
You know, been to the other side of it too.
Yeah.
But hey, it is what it is.
That's all that it is.
Yep.
Okay.
But all right, that's all I got for y'all. Not forever. You're stuck with me, okay? You guys are actually actively stuck with me, okay? If you go and you tell anyone about my existence or anything outside of here, other than sharing and liking and all that other fun subscription stuff, SI7's going to knock down your door and you're going to be getting a call from Agent Simmons, and I know you don't want to deal with that. I've heard that a lot of people confuse him for John Turturro. But anyway, listen, guys. No matter where you lean on things, no matter where you stand on things, friendships should always be able to blossom and grow. Plain and simple. Everyone's entitled to think what they want to think. Everyone's entitled to believe what they want to believe. Now, sometimes beliefs can denote and allude to a pretty shit person. But most of the time, just a little bit of conversation and clarification can take you a whole long way. And with that, you got anything to say to him, C-Win, before we bounce, man?
Remember, you can give 1,000,000 definitions for what peace is, but the only one that actually gives you some order and stability is knowing that peace is supreme understanding between people for the benefit of the whole. So if you ain't about understanding and generating understanding, you'll never find peace. Peace.
All right. Don't y'all never forget, rock and roll. Be good to yourselves. Take care of each other. Hug your friends. And never be afraid to let them know when they say something that you don't agree with. Because a true friend will be willing to address it. And not attack you for it while doing so. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'll catch y'all next time. Be well, my dudes. Peace.